I have this thing that I say when I'm facing a challenge or maybe my day is completely blowing up. I stop and say, no problem, before I face the challenge. Now, most of the time there is very clearly a problem, and usually it's a big problem. And if somebody were to see me from the outside, they'd say, wow, that lady's got a huge problem. But by saying no problem, it just gives me a chance to really stop reacting and think about, what the hell am I going to do? What has to happen next? It's kind of like giving yourself a pause when you have typed out that text message and you're just so angry and you just want to give somebody a piece of your mind. And so you text it, but you don't push send, because by doing that, it would be a sad choice and you would make a lot of people sad, and then you would have regret later, and it's just not a good idea. So I honestly think that we need to start incorporating this into our everyday lives, because when we feel overwhelmed and just so many things on our plate and things are going absolutely insane, what do? We look at it as a huge, big problem, and then we just panic. So in our lives, an example would be, I need to get in shape. I hate my job. I need a new job. My relationship is not great. I need more friends, or I'm going to end up dead in my apartment and my cat's going to eat me. Maybe I need to get rid of this debt too, because I'm horrible with money. I'm so tired. I can't pick up a new job, and I need to get my spark back in the middle of all this too. So you think about all these problems and they just become a huge pile, and you think, where do I even start? I don't know where to start. So what do? You don't. And then 6 months later, you're still having the same conversation with yourself, but yet 6 months has gone by and now you feel terrible because you haven't done anything. So that is the issue I want to take on today. When you have this happen and you're just doing this to yourself, you have to realize you don't have to change everything at once, and it's not all connected. You just have to choose one thing and make it 10% better. Not 100, just 10. And you might think, does 10%, is that even going to do anything? But yeah, say I want to take off on an airplane and I'm leaving from Montana and I'm going to go to New York City, and the pilot, he makes a change in his trajectory and he's changed it 10 degrees or 10%. I'm not going to end up in New York. And that's kind of how it is here. You know, we think about this huge pile of things that we need to do, but we are waiting for motivation, or we're waiting for the stars to align before we can change anything. But we don't have to do that. You don't have to change your whole lives overnight. All you have to do is start with 10%. So with that huge bunch of problems we just talked about, maybe you think, I'm going to tackle this all at once. I mean, I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to start meal prepping. And that's how I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. every morning and without my alarm. Who needs an alarm? I'm going to have $10,000 in my savings account by the end of this month. I am going to have a full social calendar. I'm going to be so popular. I'm going to have friends calling all the time. So it's just not reasonable, and you're just setting yourself up for failure. So I want you to ask yourself, what is a part of my life that I seem to be complaining about the most? And be honest. And also don't say all of it, because that's not reasonable. You're not going to change it all at once. I just want you to pick one thing that you're complaining about the most, because that's where we're going to start with just a 10% change. Maybe it's your health. Maybe you need to take better care of yourself. So what would 10% mean for that? No problem. I'm going to make that appointment with my doctor that I've been wanting to do. I want to get my labs checked. I'm going to just walk around the block a couple times every night and just really start getting my groove on with my workouts. knowing that you're not going to be in a bikini traipsing around a beach and showing off your body. But no, what does just 10% better look like? Maybe it's your job. Again, you're not going to march into your job and throw your resignation on the desk and tell them they're the shittiest boss you've ever had. You're not going to do that. But maybe you can update your resume. Maybe you can talk to that person that you think their job would be super dreamy and you want to find out more about it. Maybe you need to just do a simple little search. Maybe there's a job right down the street that you would like even better. I'm not asking you to do something huge, just a little teeny step, just the 10%. Maybe there's something in your life that you've been wanting to do for years, but you've just been putting it off. Maybe take a class. Maybe you've always wanted to learn how to play the ukulele. Maybe you want to travel more. You're not going to start traveling, 30 countries in a year, but what is 10%? What would that look like for you? No problem. I'm going to just work on that 10%, because obviously if you keep doing the same thing you're doing, your life is going to look the very same in 10 years. And this big list of for sure things you're going to do never happened, and you're going to be super discouraged. So whatever that looks like for you, I'm not asking you to blow up your life. I'm just asking you to make a 10% change in that one area that you seem to be complaining the most about. So no problem. What's that 10% look like for you?